Anyway, my point here is ivermectin is now listed as one of the top treatments for COVID, as many of us stated all along, because, well, it works. Now imagine if they'd made ivermectin available to everyone who had COVID early on back in 2020. Oh, but then they wouldn't have all of those numbers to fluff up the death counts, now would they? You think this is a coincidence? Maybe the science changed, and now they've discovered it's magically okay and safe to use. No, they purposely suppressed it and made us out to be crazy whack jobs who eat horse paste. Not to mention all of the doctors who lost their jobs and were completely ostracized from society for promoting ivermectin. Remember the disinformation dozen? It's funny, the vast majority of information pertaining to COVID misinformation has now conveniently been scrubbed from the internet since all of us conspiracy theorists ended up being right. But in the height of the COVID madness, there were 12 doctors who lost their jobs for promoting ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine. If I remember correctly, several of them even lost their licenses for prescribing the medications. But then again, I wouldn't know because I can't fact check anything because the internet has taken it all down. But now, let's just go ahead and forget those doctors who stood up for truth and freedom from the beginning. And they lost their jobs. Now it's okay because the government says so. They get to quietly add ivermectin to their list of treatments so they can treat the 0.01% of people who are actually affected by this, while playing along to the tune that we are still in some state of emergency. Sickening. The only state of emergency is the state of California. For those of you unfamiliar, Scott Wiener, yes, his name is actually Wiener, and yes, he is a homosexual pervert. Anyhow, Scott Wiener is a Democrat, obviously, senator representing California's 11th district and recently introduced SB 145, a bill that states it is not a felony to have sex with a minor. Yeah, that same sick who did that also recently introduced another bill that would allow children to get vaccinated without parental consent, SB 866. SB 866 would permit minors 12 years and older to consent to vaccination after it's approved by the FDA, which we all know they waste no time in approving all COVID shots. And Wiener says this protects the ability of young people to live healthy lives and keep schools open and safe while allowing children to make choices about their bodies around reproductive health care. Unbelievable! This infuriates me. This sick demon needs to be permanently locked up behind bars. Yet somehow he's in Sacramento influencing the lives of children. What has this world come to? Fortunately, I'm not alone in my thought process, as many concerned parents have stepped up and voiced their opinions in regards to SB 866. Wiener blamed the, quote, anti-vaxxer harassment campaign for the failure of the bill and made the decision to have it pulled. But don't worry, he says. Despite losing this time around, Wiener wants us to know he doesn't plan on giving up anytime soon. So parents, please stay on top of this. In other idiotic California news, I told you last week that the state voted to ban the sale of all new gas-powered vehicles by 2035. Well, less than a week after the utterly preposterous announcement, California is now telling you not to charge your EV in an effort to conserve energy amid the forecasted heat wave that is likely to strain the grid. What an absolute joke! We must be getting punked, right? Where's Kutcher? Ashton, you can come out now.
Oh my God.
This isn't real.
It's not real. Oh my God. What just happened? Wait a second, what just happened?
I called my mom and
What just happened? What just happened?
I just got punked.
Oh. Better days. I would literally give anything to go back to 2003. But no, here we are, stuck in the permanent heat wave living hell that is 2022, where literal clowns think they get to call the shots and deadhead liberals don't even bat an eye. Well, good luck out there, climate activists. You guys can prepare yourselves for rolling blackouts while you get your air shut off at home and have nowhere to go because you can't start your electric car. And while you do that, I'll stick with my 2011 hunk of junk that still has yet to let me down. But since we're talking about clowns calling shots, have you heard this one? The latest proof that Democrats want to keep you lazy and get you dependent on the system. Los Angeles County is launching a universal basic income program, which will award $1,000 a month to 1,000 residents who will receive the money for at least the next 3 years. For the time being, this is just a pilot program established by the county's Board of Supervisors. However, they said, quote, they hope to expand nationwide and provide economic opportunity and stability to every eligible American household. So, yeah, communism. The 1,000 who were selected were randomly chosen from a pool of more than 180,000 who applied and will receive their money through an oh-so-convenient debit card. Applicants must be 18 years or older to apply and have a household income of under $56,000 a year. So yeah, come on down to LA where the American dream is still alive and well. Set up a tent on the beach, get your free crack pipe, talk to your drug-addicted buddies on your free Obama phone, and now get an extra $1,000 a month to buy drugs and whatever else you bums buy with your money. And now, right in line with their communist tactic to get us all on a universal basic income, they also want to raise fast food wages to, get this, $22 an hour. California's state Senate just passed AB 257, dubbed the Fast Recovery Act. The legislation calls for the formation of a 10-person council made up of fast food workers, restaurant representatives, and government officials. This council has the power to establish a new minimum wage at restaurant chains that have more than 100 locations nationwide. The president of McDonald's is already sounding the alarm over the reckless legislation, saying the bill unfairly targets some businesses while sparing others. He goes on to call it lopsided, hypocritical, and ill-considered. Should this radical bill become law, be prepared to shell out the big bucks for your Big Mac. Want fries with that? Well, you may need to take out a loan. A study by the University of California Riverside Center for Economic Forecast and Development shows AB 257 will drive up fast food prices by as much as 20%. It would also drive up labor costs by 60%, an expense that will undoubtedly be passed on to the consumer. Jot Condi, the president and CEO of California Restaurant Association, says the bill is based on a myth and that the industry is among the best when it comes to labor laws.
The sponsors of this bill would have you believe that the fast food sector of the restaurant industry are serial violators of labor law, and that is not true.
Opponents worry about rising costs in a low-profit margin industry. Condi believes workplace policy should be left to the lawmakers who are accountable to voters. And he says most franchise owners work alongside their employees in a small restaurant setting, with the overwhelming majority of them having their voices heard.
What's the need to create this council when California has some of the most protective laws for worker safety and worker welfare in the nation, if not the world?
The people working at McDonald's may be celebrating, but this helps no one. $22 an hour doesn't mean when the cost of everything else is skyrocketing thanks to Bidenflation. These radical lawmakers are giving you the illusion that you're making more, while simultaneously taking your freedoms and ultimately making you dependent on the government. And as you probably know by now, I never miss an opportunity to lay into Starbucks after they told me to wear a mask in my own car so they could hand me a drink. So that's why I'm very pleased to announce that hashtag boycott Starbucks is trending once again. The upheaval began after a Starbucks location in the UK posted this sign exclaiming, "We're going cashless." From October 1st, 2022, we will only be accepting card, contactless, and Starbucks reward payments. The plan drew immediate protests across cyberspace. Scores of coffee connoisseurs took to social media, blasting Starbucks over their outrageous policy. The Java giant quickly reversed course on the cashless controversy, issuing this statement. Starbucks has no plans to go cashless across our UK stores, and we want to shut down any inaccuracies or further speculation on this matter. Score 1 for common sense. And while Starbucks is killing the cashless controversy, at least for the time being, retail behemoth Amazon is doubling down on the idea. The company is now unveiling new palm scanner payment technology at dozens of Whole Foods locations across California. Amazon began testing the technology about a year ago, making the payment method available at its Amazon Go stores.
Will you be paying with your palm today?
For trying to put the future of payments right in the palm of your,
Right there, perfect.
It's called Amazon One, a new contactless payment system that launched for the first time in Northern California at their store in Santana Row. To sign up, first insert a credit card and then hold your hand